listener production.
Hey, welcome to The Briefing and happy Friday. Sasha Barbagat with you. The stars of Wuthering Heights have dazzled in Sydney overnight for the premiere of the highly anticipated and slightly controversial adaptation of Emily Bronte's classic. But fans of romance are being told to expect anything but that.
So I feel like it's this new category of romance where not everything is perfect. Like, it feels like it's a challenge, and maybe that's a desire to kind of connect with the real audience of like understanding that maybe things are not always, don't always have a perfect ending.
A look at the new Wuthering Heights, its controversies, and whether the mixed reviews are warranted is coming up in the second half of this episode. But first, let's get into the headlines with Chris Spiru on Friday the 13th of February.
Morning, Sash, and we're kicking things off in Italy this morning, where Australia has won its first medal at the Winter Olympics. And I can already hear you asking, dear listener, what colour is it? Well, it isn't silver and it isn't bronze, so it must be... Yes, we have won gold, baby! Cooper Woods overnight taking out the men's mogul final at the Milano Cortina Games.
It's first.
He's won!
83.71.
He's done it!
Come on,
Cooper
Woods!
He is an Olympic gold medalist!
That audio thanks to Nine.
Yes, well done, Cooper Woods. He is a 25-year-old from Pembula in southern New South Wales, and he has become just the 7th Aussie in Winter Olympics history to claim gold.
I'm Cooper Woods and I'm an Olympic champion. Let's go!
Such a like Gen Z. Let's go! It's his second Olympic Games appearance after a 6th place finish in Beijing 4 years ago, and he also had this to say after the win.
The highs and the lows and the injuries and the setbacks, the time away from family and friends, and it's all sacrifice for this little thing. And yeah, I'm so happy to have my family here with me to celebrate. Like, it's the first time they've come and watched me ski. So yeah, what a journey.
Now, all eyes for this event were actually on one Matt Graham, who was the flag bearer. He ended up finishing 5th in the event, while fellow Aussie Jackson Harvey was last, and that's 8th place. So yeah, good showing from the Aussies at this event. I know we struggle to get medals, but how nice to claim our first one for these games and our first gold in ages.
Yeah, and I also know that we shit-canned it. We were like, the Winter Olympics, meh. But if you go to the Channel 9 Instagram and you watch what Cooper Wood did, like the mogul, it is so good. They go down, they do their little flips in the air, and then he's skiing down, and it's just so good to watch. So highly recommend it. Actually, I'll pop a video link to that in our broadcast channel at The Briefing Podcast on Instagram.
Well done, Cooper Woods.
Back home now, where support is firming up for Angus Taylor as he looks to oust Susan Lee as leader of the Liberal Party. It's the story that's been going for so very long, and it looks like it will be coming to an end because they're gathering today at 9 a.m. for a party room meeting to confirm the spill motion in a vote before the former Shadow Defence Minister formally challenges for the top job.
Yeah, the vote for leader was at first looking to be quite close between the pair, but now it looks like Taylor has the support to comfortably win after almost a third of the Shadow Ministry quit to back him. It was quite a sad sight. Susan Lee sitting alone on the front bench yesterday afternoon on the floor of the House of Reps. I do have to shout out News Corp. They went with the caption Lone-Lee, L-E-Y, on their front page this morning. Look, among those who have quit to support Angus Taylor are Conservative heavyweights Michaelia Cash and Dan Tehan, while former Lee backer James McGrath has also resigned from Cabinet.
Yeah, and the view within the party is that they have to change or face political exile. Like, we do know that One Nation has overtaken the coalition in a number of recent polls to become the second most popular party in this country behind Labor. A new leader won't be the silver bullet, that the Libs need to claw back support, but many of Taylor's backers say dumping Lee is key to start the process. I mean, if that process gets underway and it's meaningful, I mean, that's a good thing, right? We do need a strong opposition in this country. Will Angus Taylor be the leader of it?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he might be. If you want to know more about the man, Tash did deep dive him yesterday afternoon in the afternoon edition of The Briefing. As for Lee as well, we haven't actually heard from her. She fired off a bunch of social media post yesterday afternoon, basically just touting like what she wants the Liberal Party to achieve around
kind of
policy.
Policy stuff, yeah.
She didn't say anything. She kind of weathered the attacks from Labor yesterday afternoon during question time and, cut that very full-on figure. So 9 a.m. today, guys, we should have our answer.
To Melbourne now, where the Israeli president's visit to Australia has ended the same way it began, with large protests in the streets.
We reject this visit, we reject genocide, and we reject the very values that this unwelcomed guest represent.
That audio thanks to the ABC. It's understood around 10,000 people peacefully marched from Flinders Street Station to State Parliament in the CBD yesterday, and while police were granted special search and move-on powers ahead of the protest, authorities say they were not used.
As to Isaac Herzog's movements yesterday, we know he visited Government House, where he met with the State Governor and Premier Jacinta Allen. Then he was off to South Bank for a community event for the victims of the Bondi terrorist attack.
We came here to be with you, to look you in the eye, to embrace, to remember, and weep together. Keep your Jewish hearts on your sleeve and wear your Zionism with pride.
A small group of protesters had gathered outside. However, they were deterred by quite a massive police presence.
And I say to all those protesters outside, go protest in front of the Iranian embassy or whichever embassy they have.
Herzog has now left Australia, and it does bring to an end his highly controversial 4-day visit. It was marred by protests but right across the country, and we really saw them reach a fever pitch in Sydney on Monday night. But, as we heard from Anthony Albanese as well, the visit was designed to bring comfort to the families of, the people killed at Bondi.
And there were a lot of things that the Prime Minister said he raised with, his Israeli counterpart, the Israeli president, while he was here. It'll be very interesting to see if any progress is made on that front. We know that he wants answers over the killing of Zomi Frankham, the aid worker in Gaza, and also the destruction of graves in Gaza, Aussie graves in Gaza. So interesting to see if we'll get any developments on that front too.
To the US now, where Donald Trump's border czar has announced ICE will pull out of Minnesota following violent protests, thousands of arrests, and the killing of 2 US citizens.
I'm very pleased to report that this search operation and our work here with state and local officials to improve coordination and achieve mutual goals, as well as our efforts to address issues of concern here on the ground, have yielded the successful results we have came here for.
That was Tom Homan speaking there. He did not mention the killings of Alex Pretty or Renee Good during his press conference.
ICE's presence in the state became a flashpoint for conflict over Trump's immigration policy and a major distraction for his administration after agents killed Pretty and Good. But Homan says the withdrawal of ICE is not a back down.
For those that say we are backing down from immigration enforcement or the promise of mass deportations, you are simply wrong. Look at the data. Record number of arrests and deportations under President Trump's first year, and we'll continue that effort.
So the news has been met with cautious optimism. Minneapolis's mayor saying this operation has been catastrophic for our neighbours and businesses, and now it's time for a great comeback. While Governor and Kamala Harris's once running mate Tim Walz said in a statement, the long road to recovery starts now.
Katie Holmes has shared a handwritten tribute to her Dawson's Creek co-star James Van Der Beek following his death from cancer at the age of 48. His family shared the news with the world yesterday, prompting an outpouring of love from not only those who knew him, but also from people around the world who grew up with the cast in the late 90s.
Yeah, overnight, Katie Holmes posted a handwritten letter to Van Der Beek on Instagram, part of it reading, "To share space with your imagination is sacred, breathing the same air in the land of make-believe and trusting that each other's hearts are safe in their expression." So beautiful.
Yeah.
Katie was 18, James was 20 when they started filming the teen drama in 1998, playing young lovers Joey and Dawson.
You're free. You can do whatever you want.
But Dawson, I want us to still be friends, and I want to know that you don't hate me.
Your words, Joey. Because after you're done dispensing your pleasantries here, you're going to turn around and you're going to walk away from me.
I have to, otherwise I'll never know.
Just go.
I dare say that there will be quite a few people consuming some hours of Dawson's Creek this weekend.
And Aussie pop icon Kylie Minogue has become the first Australian artist to get her own signature collector's Barbie doll. And while I did want to lead this story with spinning around, we did go with Padam because that's the outfit they've gone with for the doll, the red catsuit with the sheer cape.
Yes, and should you wish to nab one, it'll only cost you $110, but you can get it from all the major retailers, Kmart, David Jones, Maya, etc., etc., etc.
And look, we have seen this doll before. Mattel kind of gifted Kylie Minogue this doll back in 2024 as part of their role models collection. So we have seen it, and the world has enjoyed looking at this doll. But now everyone can get their hands on it, which is, I guess, exciting if you're a Barbie collector and a Kylie fan.
Well, my thought was because they do this a fair bit. We know that Ash Barty, Mary Fowler, Ida Buttrose, Bindi Irwin have all been immortalised as Barbie dolls. And some of them do go on sale, but also are people really buying these? Are these super popular? Because I don't really know any parents of little girls.
No.
Who's buying this stuff?
Well, also, Barbie's just got so many different dolls now that you can get.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a doll collector. I'm not a Barbie fan. I was more an action man kind of boy myself.
Fair.
But hey, we're open to learning about this community. So should you be part of that community, reach out to us on Instagram.
Tell us if you're a Barbie collector. All I remember about I had one Barbie and she was naked the whole time.
Sure.
My parents weren't buying me the dream house or anything. I just had a naked Barbie doll. That was it.
So on brand.
Sure. That is the end of headlines. Thank you for joining us this week. Next up, we are getting into my deep dive. I chat to Justin Hill, Listener's chief entertainment reporter, and we're breaking down Wuthering Heights. It's not just about the movie. There's a bunch of controversy around this. It's a really cool and interesting conversation for your Friday morning. Enjoy.
You'd show no remorse or apologise for her death?
Hi, I'm Alison Sandy, National Investigations Editor at the 7 Network.
He was the last person to see her after they had an argument at their family home.
And I've got a new podcast out.
I've got nothing to say to you.
Kiss and Kill is a deep dive on some of the nation's most notorious killer narcissists and expert abusers.
Very deliberate manipulation.
Examining their telltale signs and patterns of behaviour.
To make her think that she's nuts.
Do you know the single biggest predictor that somebody could escalate dangerously?
So you know exactly what to look out for.
Is that they are controlling.
More women are being murdered by their partners than ever before.
Introducing Kiss and Kill.
He used to call her Princess.
To listen, search Kiss and Kill on the Listener app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Gone are the days of modest period films and highbrow adaptations of classic literature. 2026 is the year of the hot and steamy romance, and Wuthering Heights, starring Margot, Robbie and Jacob Elordi, has got tongues wagging, literally.
President asked me to marry him. Heathcliff is gone. You must accept it.
It's not just the story that's got people talking either, with criticism from fans that it diverts too far from Emily Bronte's novel, but also that its casting is wrong and another example of racial bias in Hollywood. So what should we make of the chatter, and how does it deal with the themes of emotional abuse and tragedy through the lens of the modern world?
So kiss me, and let us both be damned.
Justin Hill is Listener's entertainment reporter and host of the podcast The Streaming Service. Nice to have you right here in studio with me, Justin.
Thanks for having me.
Look, book-to-movie adaptations, they're nothing new, but they always manage to drum up at least a little bit of controversy, mainly for failing to be as close to the original as people would like. What do you think fans will make of this adaptation?
I think there's something you need to know before you go and see it, and it's quite important, and I didn't realise it until I saw the film, but it's not called Wuthering Heights. It's called Wuthering Heights with quotation marks around it. The reason it's called that is because it is a version of the book that Emerald Fennell, who's the director, kind of dreamed up or imagined, or it's like a version of the book that she read. And when you watch the film and you know that, it feels like you are watching it through someone else's eyes, because not everything in the movie is perfect, word for word or look for look in the book. And it's meant to be like that.
Right.
It's meant to be someone else's interpretation, which then explains why all the costuming isn't exactly, period perfect, but it is incredible. Like, that's what I think people need to know going in to see it.
Is this, okay, tangent, but is this kind of lazy? I'm finding this more and more where it's like, oh yeah, it's just a version of the original, where it's like, well, so you're not even coming up with an original idea. You're just taking something that's already been made and going, well, this is my version. Like, is that kind of lazy, like producing and directing in 2026?
You could see it like that, but the way I kind of looked at it was, well, this allows the director and, and the stars to veer off the course of the book, so that if they wanted to do something slightly different, they can. Because if they were doing an exact, replication of the book, they would need it to be precisely how it is in the book. And if they did something different, that's when the haters come in and they're like, no, you've changed it. It's not exactly the same. Whereas if they go into it saying, this is not, exactly it, it's someone else's interpretation, then if you want to do something unusual with the costuming or with the story, then it gives you a little bit more of creative license. But, I mean, some people could also see it as being a little bit lazy.
Yeah, me. Look, it's been built up as very hot, very steamy. Most period pieces I think we've seen in the past tend to kind of keep it classy and like thinly veiled sexuality. But we're seeing more and more with, Wuthering Heights, but also shows like Bridgerton, this desire to kind of sex up period pieces. Do you think this delivers on that promise? And why do you think we are seeing more of that steamy period kind of style show really trending at the moment?
Well, I guess what's the measurement now? Like, is it how far it goes on screen, how much we see? Like, it's done a weird thing to me, though. I saw another movie this week, Crime 101, with Chris Hemsworth, and it got to the sex scene and jumped. And I was like, oh? And, I don't want to be shortchanged to not get a sex scene out of Chris Hemsworth.
No.
But I feel like that's what it's done. It's kind of made me go, well, here comes the rompy pumpy, and it didn't happen. Right. And I feel like these, where we're seeing in these period pieces that they're not scared to go there. We get to see what happens, in the carriage in Bridgerton. Yes, a classic version of Pitbull is playing in the background, but we still get to kind of like see what's going on. So I do feel like, when you look at things like that, it's like, well, how do you measure it? I think that it's, in my eyes, I think the measurement is if it feels not too like stand out-ish. If you're not going, oh God, okay, this is in here to get people talking. It's still got to feel like it's part of the story. I think in this film, it definitely delivers on that, because it's not too performative. By the time you see those scenes, you're very into the chemistry between Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. It's very believable. So I think that it does fit nicely in the story. And so I think the people who are wanting to go into it and seeing a little bit of steam are definitely going to feel like they got what they asked for.
It also plays into this overriding theme, I think, that we're seeing in romances at the moment, which is yearning.
Yes.
Talk us through that and where we're seeing it kind of come to the fore in, not only movies, but also TV shows and books at the moment.
I feel like maybe it's the word of 2026 because we're only a couple of months into the year and we've already got shows like, Bridgerton like the new season of that focusing on an element of yearning. You've got Wuthering Heights. You've got the Disney show, The Artful Dodger, is also about a relationship that's like being, kind of like pulled apart, but they want to be with each other. We also had Heated Rivalry, which was about yearning as well. So I feel like it's this new category of romance where not everything is perfect. Like it feels like it's a challenge, and maybe that's a desire to kind of connect with the real audience of like understanding that maybe things are not always, don't always have a perfect ending. But it seems to have very casually become, it's kind of like bubbled to the top of this thing that people are really interested in seeing, because then it allows you to have like the steamy hookups and the longing for someone else and allows you to create. I mean, in Wuthering Heights, the shots that like visually, the shots in this film is what people are going to be talking about. There's one in particular, and people will know when they see it, of Margot Robbie's character crossing the moors, and I literally gasped. I gasped when you see it because it's just beautiful. And Emerald Fennell is very well known for that kind of that tactile kind of look in her films, and I think she really delivers on this. And that kind of sense of yearning and that drama allows them to be like, okay, let's do a really crazy big shot here, or let's do a wild costume, because you're already in that kind of the throes of that drama.
Yeah, well, it's definitely, it's a theme that I think gets under people's skin well. It's
relatable.
It is. It sure is. Look, I want to talk a little bit about the frustration at the casting of Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. While Emily Brontë in the novel never actually states what race he is, it's pretty clear that he's not white. What do you make of the chatter around the casting of Elordi as Heathcliff?
I think it's interesting because it has more of a domino effect, I think, than what people realise. And I think the purists and the big fans of the book and the novel have come out and said, well, it's not just about changing his race because it's Emerald Fennell's version of it. It changes part of the story because that was why there was a yearning between them, because of the differences between their race. This time it's more like a classism, like Heathcliff kind of becomes nouveau riche, and so that's the issue that we're seeing between them, which I guess is still very relevant and important, but I think a lot of people are they would have liked to have seen that part of it a little more honest. But also, too, that's not to say that the film doesn't have diversity in it. It definitely does. A lot of the lead characters, their, races have been changed as well. So I think that it probably was a case of looking at, Jacob coming off Saltburn. I mean, the guy's nominated for an Oscar this year, if that gives you any indication as to his popularity. Euphoria's coming back. He's a very hot topic. Margot was actually never meant to play Kathy in this film. She's a producer and her production company's doing it, but it was never her. And when they were looking at the lead role, she was like, you know what, I might throw my hat in the ring. And then Emerald Fennell was like, oh my God, I would love you to play the role. So it kind of didn't set out to be exactly that, but that's kind of how it fell into place. And I think maybe it's just been something that a lot of fans have looked at and gone, we kind of wish you didn't change that. But we're also very excited to see the chemistry between the two. So it's like a push and pull of we don't love it, but we also love them. And I think people are struggling to settle on exactly how they feel about the casting in the film.
I want to talk about his character then more specifically. People going to see this who haven't read the book might not realise that it's not a romance, guys.
Not at all.
It's closer to a gothic tragedy.
Yeah.
Heathcliff is cruel and emotionally abusive. Does the film manage to avoid glamorising a character who is essentially an abusive anti-hero?
It will surprise a lot of people, and I think, but maybe in a good way, where it's not, what they expected. The way that the story is done is that you fall into this sense of yearning between them and what keeps them apart, and the things that happen that you kind of go, oh, I wish that didn't happen, and look, this is what's keeping them apart. And then it kind of unfolds this nasty side of Jacob Elordi's character. So you kind of almost feel betrayed by him. And then you kind of go, wow, he's really a bit bitter and twisted. But I also think the movie gives good context as to why people do horrible things to the people they love. And it is very careful not to glamorize that, for sure, because I definitely had that sense of betrayal that he was a great guy and then this is what happened. So, but I think that that's super important though, because you don't want it to be it's totally fine that he's treating people like this. You definitely get the sense of it's not okay.
You went to the premiere last night and you had one very specific question that you wanted to ask them.
I wanted to talk to you about this concept of love language, which I love to talk to people about. So words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, gifts. What do you think Heathcliff's love language would be?
All of them.
What do you think Kathy's is and what do you think Heathcliff's is?
Well, Kathy's gifts, probably.
Yeah,
no, Kathy's all of them. She wants the words of affirmation for sure. She's desperate for the touch.
Yeah.
She wants it all. I mean, she's kind of selfish like that. She wants all of it.
To finish off, Juzzy, it's getting mixed reviews from the critics. I've seen both 1-star and 5-star reviews and a bunch in the middle. So why do you think it's so polarising? And take us out with your own rating as well.
if you have a film that's getting 1-star and 5-star reviews, I think you've got to be happy with that because it's polarizing people. It is making people talk about it, and people that potentially might also give it a 1-star will see it. And that's ultimately what we're looking at. We're looking at box office success. And when it comes down to it, it is a good film, but it's a good film from different angles. I think that it really has appealed to, you know, if you like the story, then you're going to love this. But if you like visual stuff, you're going to love this. The soundtrack, I mean, Charlie XCX did that. So overall, I quite enjoyed it. I would give it like a 4 out of 5 because, I just think that like it's got something for everyone, and I feel like it's going to make people make a decision about it instead of being like, oh, well, the group consensus is that it's amazing, but maybe it's not. But I think it's amazing for different reasons for different people.
Always insightful. Justin Hill, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
That was Justin Hill speaking with me there, host of the streaming service on Listener. And that is it for this episode of The Briefing. Excitingly, the Weekend Briefing is back in your feed tomorrow. And we have a very special debut for the one and only Chris Spiru. He is sitting down with radio royalty Ash London. Be sure to check it out. It's a great chat. And we're also looking to feature you, dear listener, in the weekend list. If you send us your recommendation on what to watch, see, eat, do, or listen to in a voice note at The Briefing Podcast, slide into our DMs. We'll get you on a future episode. I'm Sasha Barbagat. Catch you Monday.